today is day 6 of our vacation. It's our last day and we're headed home. So it is actually a Sunday. And so we are headed to church in the morning, and which we always find kind of fun to visit a different church on a Sunday morning. So we are headed there. And then after that, we are driving home, and I'm hoping we hit this place that has macaroni and cheese, which sounds really tasty. So yeah, come along for the ride with us as we head home, and I'll try to get some pretty pictures for you as we cross the Hudson River at the Tappan Zee Bridge. So thanks again for watching all the way through our vacation, and stay tuned on Saturday, which should be tomorrow when you're watching this, to have a recap of everything that I got while we were on vacation. And hopefully the lighting will be better and you can see the yarn and stuff a little bit better. So I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. Bye. So there's not that much footage to see today. However, I thought it would be kind of fun to fill in some time by doing a little chat with you all. Since we are celebrating my 100th episode week. And don't forget to enter our giveaway, which is watch the video for each day and just leave a thumbs up and a comment down below. So today, like I said, because it's going to be shorter, I thought it might be fun for you guys to get to know a little bit more about me. Some of these things I'm going to tell you, some of you who have watched me for a while will know. Others, you might not. There's some stuff I'm going to share you've never known about me. So the topic is going to be 20 things you may or may not know about me. So here we go. Number 1, I am a born-again Christian, unashamedly so. And so that's why it's number 1 on the list. Number 2, I am 55. I will be 56 on November 27th of this year. I was a Thanksgiving birthday baby. So number 3, I have been married for 36 years. We will be married on our anniversary is on February 5th. And we met in church. And I have a picture of my hubby and I. Much younger, of course. There we are. It's a little blurry, but that was the 2 of us. And if you have not watched the episode, I was a pyro bride. I tell the story of how my veil caught on fire during my wedding. Yeah. Only to me, right? Number 4. I have 2 children, both of which are 35 years old, and they're not twins. They are 10 and a half months apart. And yes, we figured out what caused that. They're 10 and a half months apart. And so for 6 weeks of the year, they're the same age. And right now we are in that 6-week window. So my daughter is getting ready to turn 36 and my son just turned 35. So for 6 weeks, I have 2 35-year-olds. Number 6, I was born in Washington, D.C. in a hospital that no longer exists. It was called, I think it was Provident Hospital. It became a parking lot. So, yeah. My birth was memorialized by asphalt and a parking lot now. Number 7, I was a nurse. I was a licensed practical nurse, which in the U.S. is a step below a registered nurse. And I worked for 2 years as a charge nurse in a nursing home and for 2 years as a school nurse when my children were in public school. And I actually completed my nursing school before I graduated from high school. It was through a VOTEC program, so I had to have all of my high school credits finished by the time of my 3rd year of high school, which is your junior year. And then during the summer of my junior year and all of my senior year, I went to nursing school. So I just went back to my high school to graduate, pretty much. Everybody thought I had moved. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to show you some pictures. That's me in my high school graduation. Yes, I had short hair and was much, much thinner. Here's my nursing graduation, and that is me right in the center. So you can barely see my nursing cap on there, but it's there. But that was my nursing class. And it was funny because I graduated from nursing in June, but I was still 17 when I got out of high school and nursing school. I didn't turn 18 till the following November. So when I went to work, I was a charge nurse. I had 6 nurses' aides under me, but I couldn't sign any documents. My supervisor had to sign behind everything I did because I wasn't 18 yet. And it was a little awkward because the people I was in charge of were old enough to be my mother and sometimes my grandmother. So I'm one of those weird people that as a nurse, I really didn't like nursing. I liked the paperwork end of it. And to this day, I still prefer paperwork. I'd rather, I don't know, that's just my thing. I like to organize stuff. So, yeah, anyway. Let's see, we are up to number 8. I homeschooled my children from middle school, which here in the U.S. is like around the age of like 11. So from the age of like 10 or 11 till they went off to college. And they actually turned out pretty much normal, despite having me as their mother. But, yeah. And now my grandchildren are actually all being homeschooled as well. So it doesn't work for everybody. You know, I was never one of those radical homeschoolers that said everybody should do it. But for those people who enjoy it and it works for them, it's great. I loved it. My kids had a really good relationship with me and my husband and with each other. They're very close even to this day. And for us, it was the right choice. So we had a lot of fun with it. And that leads us to number 9. I actually wrote a book about homeschooling that was published. So I'm going to show you a picture of that. So there is a picture of the book I published. These are not my children. Everybody asked me that, but that is just who the publisher, that was a stock photo that the publisher chose to put on the cover of the book. It did not make the New York Times bestseller list, which leads to number 9, why I am working in a library. So, yeah, I have worked at the public library for 17 years. I started there when our son went to college, and I started working as a page, which means I put books away that when you return them and they get checked in, then they have to get back reshelved. That was my job. And then I started working with circulation, which is checking people in and out. And I still am doing that, but I'm doing it on trucks now. So I'm part of the mobile services department that goes around in like library trucks or bookmobiles. So I've been there for 17 years. And I work in a different state than where I live, because I live in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which is just above, it's just north of the Maryland line, but I actually work down in Maryland. Let's see, we are on number 11. I play the guitar and the banjo. Yes, I said banjo. And I sing. I'm not doing any of those for you. Yeah, that would really shoot my ratings right down the tubes if I did that. But anyway, but yes, I play a 5-string banjo and a guitar, and my husband and I used to sing with another couple in a bluegrass gospel group, and we traveled between Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and we sang at different churches, but we also sang at different events and things. So, yeah. On to number 12. What are my favorite types of books? Well, if you've watched my book reviews that I do every so often, you'll know that I like cozy mysteries, which are kind of like murder mysteries without all the blood and gore and graphic details. So they generally are clean with little or no language or graphic scenes. We'll put it that way. And I especially like cozy mysteries that take place either in the state of Maine, which is like my favorite place. I love New England, but Maine is my favorite. Or they're fiber related. I like reading cozy mysteries about knitting and crochet and yarn shops, and there's quite a few series out there that are based on that. So I enjoy that. And let's see. I enjoy reading books, cozy mysteries that also involve food, because like who doesn't like food? And I like reading ones that are about home renovations. So anyway, yeah. On to number 13. What do I like to watch on YouTube? Well, I of course like watching lots of other knitting podcasts. I'm starting to watch other crochet podcasts, and I also like watching organizing videos because I really like to organize things. I drive Dave a little crazy with that, but I like to watch organizing things. And I like watching house hunting shows, especially Escape to the Country, which takes place in the UK, because the scenery is so gorgeous, and I like because they go to interesting places. And yeah, that's one of my favorite ones to watch. It's just kind of relaxing. And I also like watching people who live in trailers full-time. They're like full-time RVers, or people that live in those tiny houses. I don't think I'd ever want to do that, because where would I store all of my yarn? I mean, priorities here. But I think it's fun because I like to do organizing and things. It fascinates me when people live in small spaces and how they do it. So I like watching videos about that. Number 13, do I like coffee or tea? I am a tea drinker. Definitely. I love the smell of coffee. I think it smells so good. But the only way I can get it down is like this much coffee and tons of cream and sugar. I love the smell. Can't drink it. And tea, I'm not a real exotic tea drinker. I don't like green tea. To me, that tastes like I'm drinking something that's been strained through grass clippings. Yeah, I'm not into green tea. And I don't like red teas, like rooibos, anything like that. I just strictly like black tea. Earl Grey is probably one of my favorites. Cinnamon tea. I like Tetley's Breakfast Blend, which is just a plain black tea, but I like the flavor of it. And there used to be there was a company called Benchley, and they used to make cherry almond tea, which was really, really good. They don't sell it anymore. I mean, well, they still sell it, but they only sell it in decaf, and that's another thing I don't care for is decaf tea. It just doesn't, I like tea that packs a punch. So, yeah. On to number 15. My favorite weight of yarn. I would have to say my favorite weight of yarn would be probably like fingering sport baby weight, that type of very light worsted sock weight yarn, the thinner yarns. I don't mind knitting with worsted weight yarn, but I find the needles bother my hand a little bit more. I like the feel of the needle size that you use with that weight of yarn. And I just feel like that weight of yarn is versatile because it can be warm, but it's not real heavy to knit with. So I used to love knitting with lace, but once we went to bifocals, I find it a little more challenging to knit with lace, but I used to use lace weight a lot. So I still have a good bit of lace weight yarn, which if I ever use it, it will probably need to be held double or something to make it a fingering weight. So on to number 16. The favorite thing for me to knit or crochet. Definitely shawls. Somebody asked me how many shawls I have and do I wear them. I haven't counted them, but I'm guessing I've got probably about 25 shawls. And I do wear them. I rotate through them. I have them separated by my lightweight shawls and my heavier weight shawls. But I do wear them all the time. I kind of rotate through them. And some of them are like narrow, so they're not real deep. They're meant more like a scarf type of thing. And other ones are big, like my Virus Meets Granny shawl. That's like, it doesn't wrap around your neck. It's something you want cozy and around your shoulders. So, I have, some of both. So some I wear almost in place of a sweater. So I would say shawls are my favorite. However, I'm getting into sweaters a little bit more. I have not gotten into crocheting a sweater yet because I know how much yardage it takes me to make a sweater in knitting. I can't even imagine how much it would take with crochet. So, number 17. What do I like best about podcasting? Like meeting people. I've had all kinds of fun chatting with all of you guys over on Facebook, over in the comments. Some of you have sent me emails, and I just think it is so cool that we have this big community. We talk back and forth like we're, a cozy little knitting group, and yet we're from all over the world. So I think that's exciting and it's fun, and I love seeing everybody's projects. Or when somebody makes the same thing that I'm making, but they've done it in different colors. I love seeing that too, just to see the different varieties. So that would probably be what I've enjoyed the most with podcasting, is getting to meet other people that like to do the same things that I like to do. Let's see. Talk about bifocals. I'm needing them right now. Number 18, what is my favorite food? Pizza. I like pizza. Although there's pretty much, I like Mexican food, and I like Chinese food. In fact, Dave and I had Chinese last night. And I like Italian food, and but I would have to say out of all of them, pizza is probably my favorite. You can't go wrong with that one. So, and my favorite place to get it from is a place called Lido's Pizza, which is only like in the state of Maryland. I pick it up every so often when I'm at work. I'll get some and take it home to us, it's a real thin crust, and it's kind of sweet tasting. And it's funny, down here in the Pennsylvania, Maryland area, you don't run into wood fire cooked pizza all that often. It's just not, most of it's just cooked in the oven, and that's how I prefer it. My husband and I ate at Frank Pepe's Pizza, which is like a famous New England place in Connecticut. And the pizza came out, and it's cooked in a wood fire, and we'd never had a wood-fired cooked pizza before. And we both looked at it and went, it's burned on the edges. They burned the pizza. And then we found out that's how it's supposed to be. Because it's in a wood-fired oven, it tends to burn the edges of the crust. And, that's not something we were used to seeing. So, but Lido's Pizza is my favorite. And it's funny because my parents actually, when they were dating, now my parents are in their late 70s, they're almost 80 years old. When they were dating in high school, they used to go to one of the original Lido's franchises and have pizza when they were in high school. Number 19. This one's weird. I was bit by a crocodile, and the crocodile died. My brother said the crocodile died because it bit me. You know how loving brothers can be. But I had a pet. Used to be able to buy pet crocodiles. They were called caimans, which is a crocodile. And you could buy them in a pet store. And I had one. He was about this long, about a foot. His name was Blivet. I would never recommend a pet crocodile because they're not warm and fuzzy or cuddly. Their cages stink because they just kind of sit around in stagnant water that you've got to change like every day. And crocodiles have, they have 2 sets of eyelids, and they also have 2 rows of teeth that are razor sharp even when they're babies. And they also have a flap in the back of their mouth so that when they open their mouth underwater, the water doesn't go down inside their stomach. So this crocodile, we think maybe was too young when he was taken and put in a pet store because he didn't know how to eat. So I literally had to feed him with raw meat and a pencil, and you had to use the eraser end of the pencil and push the raw meat into his mouth back past the flap so that he could digest it until he got a little bit older and was able to like chase flies, which he did. If I let him loose, he chased flies around the room. But one day he had some stuff on the side of his eyes. Now, crocodiles don't see straight forward, they only see sideways. And so he had something in the side of his eye, and I, without thinking, went to try to wipe it away, and he turned around and bit me. It was like an electric jolt going through my finger, and I flicked my hand real quick, and he kind of went flying, and he died like a few days later. So I'm thinking he got injured in flight, but not intentionally, but it was like an instant knee-jerk reaction because it hurt when he bit me. But like I said, my brother said he died because he bit me. So that's my crocodile story. And number 20, I used to do gymnastics. When I was in high school, balance beam was my specialty. And during my first gymnastics meet, I think I was in ninth grade. I fell off the balance beam in the middle of my performance, heard the bones in my foot crack, and I didn't know what to do. I knew I needed to finish my routine, so I got back up on the balance beam and did a round off, which is kind of like a cartwheel type of thing, at the end of it, thinking I'll just land on the foot that doesn't hurt. And I did until I lost my balance and took one step back and heard my foot snap. The rest of the way, I broke 3 metatarsals in my foot. The metatarsals, these are your toes. If this was your toes, these are your metatarsals. On your hand, they're metacarpals, but they're metatarsals on your feet. I broke the 3 middle ones, which is really weird. I didn't break the metatarsal that goes to my big toe or the metatarsal that goes to my baby toe. I broke the 3 in the middle. So I had a cast from my foot to my knee for 6 weeks. That took care of all of my gymnastics days. And here's just a little side note, and it's probably too much information, but it is a funny story. Have you ever noticed that gymnasts are flat-chested? There's a reason for that. I am not. If you've seen me before, I am not. And I was doing the uneven parallel bars at one point, which means one bar is at about 4 feet high, and the other bar is, I think it's 6 or 7 feet high. I think it's 7 feet high. And I was going from the low bar to the top bar in a swing type of thing. Caught my underwire bra around the top bar and was hanging. Dangling, yes. We won't go into too much detail, except it was very painful, and somebody had to lift me down. So, totally embarrassing. So, like I said, my gymnastics days didn't last very long, and I wasn't very good at it. I'm not real athletically inclined at all. So, that would be the end of my 20 things about me. Some things you probably are like, I wish I didn't know that, but anyway, yeah, that's my 20 things about me that you might not have known, but now you do. So, stick around. We are going to do the clip for today of us driving home, and watch me tomorrow for our regular Saturday podcast and the announcement of our winner. So, thanks again for watching all week long. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Then we went to New York through 287 south. New York Thruway after we go through Craftsy.
Here's all the derricks out there. They're dismantling the old bridge.
Yeah, it's unreal.